original seed. Kassim, peace.
Going live. Oh, you did. Good. All right.
Kassim, what's the deal? See, I see we down here at school today, so we ain't got no music. We ain't got no music. Free cipher. What's the science? We're gonna be a little bit old-fashioned today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna do my best to stay within the bounds. You see, we're gonna talk about dissatisfaction. See, because here's the thing with dissatisfaction. That I've learned a lot from being a part of the 5%, right? Is that, see, who you dissatisfied with? What are you dissatisfied about? See, who is it that you feel came up short? See, that's the thing about dissatisfaction, right? It's who you blame for the dissatisfaction. See, this is the thing. When things like this start happening, right, then we forget our degrees. See, people that, you know, all the time you take it to the degrees, right? But you forget that all that above is caused by who?
Peace, though.
Peace. So who you dissatisfied with? See, who you dissatisfied with, right? And then, right? Because see, who you dissatisfied with, right? See, now we get into what and how you want to bring about a change. See, when you attempt to bring about a change, right? What law are you going to use? So you going to deal with unlike or you going to deal with like? See, here's the thing about dissatisfaction. What needs to change? Do you need to change? Does your environment need to change? Is what you dealing with need to change? See, because if you don't understand your dissatisfaction, right, then you go around making errors and mistakes. Starting with who you blame for your dissatisfaction. See, how many, see, there's been disgruntled people since 1964. But see, what those people never ask themselves, right, is how much of what you dissatisfied about is the way you chose to stand on these principles. See, there's some things, if you saying like, okay, somebody told lies to you, stole from you. But other than that, if we all got the same knowledge and wisdom, right? Then how can you be dissatisfied with everybody else about how you came up? And see, here's the flip side. See, when you do something and you satisfied with it, then it was all you. Then it was all you, and you the Lord Almighty. But when you fuck up, somehow that's because of the nation. That's somehow because everybody else ain't right and exact. But see, here's the thing. See, how many times do you hear the dissatisfied individual talk about themselves?
I'm trying to pick myself up the post, So you get a chance.
Dissatisfied, right? You dissatisfied about who's at the rally. Okay, here's a question. How many people in that rally got anything to do with you? So let me get this straight. You're not at the rally. You haven't taught, influenced, or affected nobody that's at the rally. But somehow that's everywhere. That's the fault of the people who are at the rally. See, this is what you got to be aware of. See, don't come here and preach. Got to call the guy back. Don't come here and preach to us. See, that's one of the reasons why I say your duty is amongst the dead. Why don't you go tell that to some of the people that's doing that? So now, like I said, you got disgruntled individuals since 1964, and you know, who is this, a coalition? What is this? Everybody goes around and y'all share these stories? Of what? Of how you wanted to have a different set of principles, and brother said, all right, fine, go do you. See, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. See, a lot of these dissatisfied, disgruntled individuals, they got a whole list of stuff that everybody else did. Why we ain't got no list of stuff that you did? I could take a wild guess at that because you haven't been doing nothing. You show up at the woodwork. After how much at a time? So when you show up at the woodwork, you think you know everything that's going on. But that's supremely, mathematically impossible. So as soon as you running off at the mouth, you doing what? Wisdom, knowledge. See, don't be a fucking pawn. Don't be a fucking pawn. Because you know what happens? You know what happens? When you dissatisfied and you don't understand your dissatisfaction, you become a fucking pawn. That's what the fuck happens. Somebody comes and fills your head with some bullshit, right? See, here's what happens. Right? You dissatisfied, right? And you're not man enough to blame yourself, right? So then somebody has an enemy, and what they do is they come and tell you that, yeah, you know that enemy I got? He's the reason. He's the one causing your dissatisfaction. So look, come with me, right? I got an island right off the coast right here. I got an island right off the coast. Come with me, right? And I'm gonna deliver you to the promised land. I'm gonna make these people, right? I'm gonna make these people who you think is responsible, who I'm telling you is responsible, right? I'm gonna make them your footstool. Or should I just cut to the case and say, they're going to let you rule for 6,000 years? See, that's what happens when you don't understand your dissatisfaction. See, that's what happens when you don't understand that whatever the dissatisfaction is, right? Whatever is the culprit, right? Whatever is the reason for the dissatisfaction, right? The solution is you. The solution got to come from you. The solution got to be executed by you. But here you go, blaming all the rest of us, right? But we God of the universe. See, listen, man. Here's when all that stuff becomes important, man. Here's when all that stuff becomes important. When it's time for you to take responsibility. See, everybody want to be God when they're giving out record deals. Everybody want to be God when equality is in rotation. But who want to be God and say you was the only one responsible for fucking up your life? See, that's why we know what the outcome of dissatisfaction is. It's just something to be aware of. Because see, especially on this internet thing, that's what we see a lot. We see a lot. People express right now, right? I'm expressing my dissatisfaction with people expressing dissatisfaction. You see, here's the thing. This See,
Because that's the time you know,
in this YouTube world, right? See, for the people who's caught up, see, it's that dissatisfaction. It's that dissatisfaction that drives the views.
do the same, man. Be careful out there. All right, honey. Thank you. I appreciate that. God bless you as well. Please, have a good night. Thank you.
It's the dissatisfaction that gets you the attention. But is that really what all this is about? See, because at the end of the day, what it is what I'm saying is, look, you can talk about it, but where are you doing with all this righteousness that you want to talk about? Where you doing that at? And if you got all this change you want to make, right, why don't you go experiment over there? Like, why don't you go conduct your experiments, right? And then when you got them perfected, why don't you present them then? See, because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing for me. This is I'm speaking for me, right? Look, these people you dissatisfied, you want to bring about this change, right? So what do you say? Are you nominating yourself as the leader? Are you nominating yourself as some type of authority on what's right or what's the right direction to go? Because if that's the case, right, then don't we need to know what's your qualifications to do that? Like, if you're gonna get the Christ to follow, you better have the master plan. You see, I'm the black sheep. I'm not no fool. I need to know the whole fucking plan. See, we're not gonna do Operation Stick and Pins and think I'm unaware. I need to know the whole fucking plan. Where you work this out at? Where's the piece of steel you was experimenting with? Because see, when you will find, right, that these people that's dissatisfied, they've often been playing with two pieces of steel that's both unlike. See, look, it's only but 24 hours in a day. It's only but 24 hours in a day. When you in the trenches, how much time you got to be noticing what everybody else is doing? Like, what was the plan that you had, right? That you needed everybody to be a strong link, right? To keep that together, and people fell apart on that. What was the plan that you had? See, I understand the science of building and destroying at the same time, but I understand that building is building and destroying is destroying. See, like, I could come and point out all the things that's wrong with religion. If I came and pointed out everything that was wrong with religion, somebody put one in the box if you think that that would lead to you having knowledge of self. See, there's a difference between me telling you who everybody else is and what they did wrong, and me telling you who you are. And see, be aware, that's why a lot of people can't teach. See, they can argue with people who's presenting some, alternative ideas, right? Or, this is different from this. Let's not say alternative like it's crazy. But see, when you got to teach babies who they're not going against you. They're asking you out of sincere curiosity. If they ask you why you say you God, that's not the same as somebody who's coming from a different set of ideas who's trying to challenge you. See, because once a person, dissatisfaction is one of them things like fear. Well, see, dissatisfaction is just in you. When a person is dissatisfied, they just, look, the food don't taste right, the weather ain't warm enough, the gas station is too far. The elbow hurt. They don't even need nothing. They don't need nothing to go wrong because dissatisfaction is in them. They can look at something that's perfectly righteous and only see dissatisfaction. Or should I say, only see things for them to be dissatisfied with. See, be aware of that, man. That this is not a hangout party. And by that, what I mean is, look, we come together all the time, right? And we share supreme equality with each other and all of that, right? We be social with each other, right? But then we still got our thing. You got to go do what you got to do. Like if you was hanging out the whole time and you never went and prepared nothing, man, so you could be successful, man, so you could have food, clothing, shelter, love, peace, and happiness, right? Whose fault is that? See, that's why you dissatisfied the whole mentality you had the whole time. See, all those things, you got to remember, look, you could listen or you could don't listen. The only person who got to uphold the weight of you listening or not listening is you. So we all got various directives, right? You know, in terms of, look, go to school, get a job, get a trade, don't do crime, all these various things. Because it's clear to see, you know, how them things have prepared you to be successful in society. Without you having to risk your freedom, justice, equality. So now, like I said, as an individual, however you came out, right, and then you feel like, yeah, you know, you was with this group of people or whatever, you was hanging out. I'm just telling you, that's what happens to a lot of people. That's where a lot of this dissatisfaction comes from. Is that when you were supposed to be applying mathematics to society in whatever way, whatever the thing is that you missing, that you dissatisfied about, you ain't do that. That's why you got to be aware of people that's not only dissatisfied, but they teach dissatisfaction. Meaning, you know, everybody that they come in tune with, right? They tell them about how they dissatisfied with everybody else. How everybody else is not doing what they want them to do. You see, this is how these things, see, this is what I'm saying, right? This is how these things play out. Meaning we see it in the lessons. Right? How Yakub manipulated the 30% dissatisfied, right? And they made the death. And so now, yeah, you hear that story, and this all happened in ancient times. But see, this is the people that be right amongst you right now. And these dissatisfied individuals is always the same thing. They want to change everybody in the world to be how they want them to be. See, this is simple. This is simple, right? If it's something out there that you know is righteous, and you want the 5% to be known for that, why you don't do it? See, because now this person can say, yo, why you didn't pick that up off the floor? I didn't even know it was there. Why did you walk past it to come over here and ask me why I ain't pick it up? How you know I knew it was there? If you knew it was there, if we dealing with supreme mathematics here, right? I didn't know it was there. You knew it was there. And see, why you always have to whip all of us into shape, Mr. Yakub? Why does your plan always have to entail all of us changing? Why is your plan never that you're going to go over there and show and prove, and then we either can see the light or not? See, why do you always have to have a plan where you're going to come in, right? And based on your judgment, some of us is true and living and some of us is not. Sound familiar? Why is it that you always have to have a plan? You got your doctors, ministers, nurses, and cremators who, these is your main minions right here that, you sending them into the mist with us. We supposed to listen to them. See, that is the height of arrogance. I do know that. But at the same time, that's why I don't even have to hear them out. Because it's the same story every time. When you ask me, how do I see through these? Because it's the same story every time. Believe it or not, give people the benefit of the doubt. I be seeing it way. See, I see the seed that was planted there. If you ask me, how'd you know apples? How'd you know apples was gonna go? Because I saw when they planted the seed. I was aware of what that seed was when they planted it. And this is why you gotta beware of dissatisfaction. So you gotta, this is actually not a word, right? But I like to look at it, the way I look at it, right, is you have unsatisfied and dissatisfied. Right? And I give the example of if somebody gives you some food, right? If I'm unsatisfied, then I want more of it. You didn't give me enough. This is good. I need. Can I get some more of this? I'm not satisfied with that, right? And dissatisfied. So if you give me the food, and I'm dissatisfied. You take that back. Take that back. I don't want no more of that. And one of the main reasons I'm saying that is to say that, yeah, there's work to be done. So a dissatisfied individual comes and brings up, various things that need to be done. Right? Work does need to be done. But now how you going to apply yourself to that? Right? Are you going to stand on that square, right, and do that work, or are you just going to go around, right? Are you just going to go around recruiting followers, recruiting Patmosians? Because that's what these people do. See, they never take a break. Because like I said, the dissatisfaction is in them. See, they the type of person, well look, you get them a ride somewhere and you didn't give me a ride, you didn't get me there fast enough. See, none of these people, right? It's like, look, we see them in the trenches from time to time. See, be aware of these people, man. See, be aware of people who couldn't show and prove on their own. And now they trying to recruit you into an army, right? They trying to recruit you into an army. It's kind of like, oh well, I recruited this army to show and prove that I could show and prove, but you still haven't shown and proven. See, man, this is why you got to know what you know, man. See, this is why it's about knowledge. You see, you get an individual, man, that, yeah, they can talk a great game. You get an individual that can talk a great motherfucking game. Now, if you got knowledge, right? If you got supreme knowledge, right? And you don't take things on face value, then you're no good. You're the people that they're talking about. See, when as they're recruiting their army, they're like, yeah, see, this person right here that sees through my bullshit and ain't scared to question me on it, right? Yeah, that's the person right there that's responsible for our dissatisfaction. I think that's enough of a rant. I think that's enough of a rant. Because, like I said, I don't want to get caught up in dissatisfaction either. But I do want people to see that and understand that at any point you come dissatisfied. See, a person I've never heard that a person came and said that they fell victim, right? Because the math don't add up. I've never heard that one. I've never heard a person say, well, nah, see, y'all saying 1 + 1 is 2. Like, nah, I've done some other research. I guess that's a much tougher pill. That's a much tougher pill to swallow. Right? That you were the one who dealt with imperfection. And see what's tragic about that level of dissatisfaction, right? Is that we the guys, man. See, through any hell, we come out right. See, we don't believe in reincarnation and all this stuff like that. But yeah, we resurrect ourselves, man. You know what I mean? Through various situations, man, various hells. We able to still be born alive. You see what I'm saying? But you can't, if you just dwelling on dissatisfaction, you'll never be able to activate that. If the foundation of your thoughts, right, is dissatisfaction, the motivation for why you're doing things is dissatisfaction, how you supposed to come out right? That's not love. That's the hell. You starting with the wisdom. I seen somebody say, do I think people was taught that, or is it their DNA? Look, a little bit of both. It's a little bit of both. You know, I've definitely seen it be manifested from both kind of positions. You know, from a position where it's like, all right, you might hear somebody speaking dissatisfaction, but you speaking dissatisfaction on people that you never met before. And you dissatisfied with what this person did and what that person said, but you never met them. You don't even know if they really said that. And if they did say it, you don't know nothing about the context, the time, the timing, or nothing. Then I seen it, you know, where it's like, yeah, that's clearly in your DNA, right? Look, brother told me one time, right? We was having a discussion where we didn't agree on whatever the topic was, right? And he says to me, right, he says, see, God, you always like to talk about mathematics. You like to bring up mathematics. So when he said that, it's like, you know, two things. Like, first of all, it's like, well, yeah. What the fuck else would I be bringing up, right? You understand what I'm saying? But on top of that, it's like, yeah, but guy, you know, you don't know me, guy. We haven't been in ciphers, guy. You don't know me. And if we was, I don't remember you saying that. So see, that's just something that's in you to bring stuff up like that, to mention stuff like that, and then you know it's always difficult to tell because birds of a feather flock together. So there's networks of disgruntled brothers. You know, look, See, I don't know if you've been in any of these private text threads. You know, some of these private text threads, listen, we really get kicked down, bro. You wouldn't believe it. You see, anything can happen. Look, the price of eggs could go up. Yeah, see, them 5%ers, man. Them damn 5%ers, man. That's because them brothers ain't right exact. That's because them brothers ain't right exact. They over there. See, if they wasn't listening to the 5% to the 5% priesthood, what they call it, the 5% mystical priesthood, right? Then the price of eggs wouldn't be as high. See, that's what happens when you get dissatisfied. Everything. Becomes the source of your dissatisfaction, but the real source is you. See, if you want to be a baby for the rest of your life, that's what you could do. But if you're really talking about, you know, being a 5%, right? You talking about, you know, you want to live out the part where it say maker, owner, creator of the planet, earth, father, civilization, God of the universe, right? Then you got to be more than just dissatisfied. Well, you got to, you know, just expressing your dissatisfaction. See, let me tell you how I see you expressing your dissatisfaction. See, tell us what the Yaqub promised his nation he would do. This is always weaved into your talk about dissatisfaction. See, every time you build, right, it's a recruitment speech for you to get some followers. And see, like I said, man, if you're so powerful, man, Why you gotta go over there? Why you gotta use our power? See, because if you go out teaching that bullshit you talking, ain't nobody gonna take heed. So now you gotta use our name, right, in order to get attention. Be aware of these individuals. But so like I said, let's somebody else come up with a topic. You know what I mean? Let's open it up. Let's open it up to some questions. Some other questions so that we don't just spend. We've already been in here about an hour, right? Ranting, right, about how dissatisfaction, right, will cause you to make the devil. You said China tariffs showing how people been overpaying for brand names. I mean, look, there is some things. He said how to change from random Jews to specific Jews. I have noticed a little price rise in a couple of things that I buy. I must say I have. I don't know if it's but I mean, look, these is the things. These is steps, or these is remember the pandemic was like that, and a lot of people, they might have stopped. You do hear a lot less people talking about that. That when it was the pandemic, right, and it was a lot of just generally people speaking about being able to survive. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you go in the supermarket and all the items is gone, right? Or, the supermarkets is closed because they ain't got enough, people to come to work or whatever the case, right? A lot of people, started thinking about, growing their own food and being, self-sufficient. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, that's one of those things, right, that has to go in the category of liking the devil because the devil gives us nothing. You know what I'm saying? Not in the direct sense of the things we usually talk about in that degree, but it does have to do with, you kind of being comfortable and relaxed, right? That the system has you in mind, right? That we don't have to worry about certain things, right? Like we can walk around in the hood, right, staring at our phone, right? We can do that, right, and not be paying attention to our surroundings because it's police. You know, we can walk out into the middle of the street looking at our phones without looking because of stoplights and traffic laws. Because the traffic law is that pedestrians always have the right of way, right? I can walk out into the street looking at my phone. So in those types of ways, right, where, you know, look, we don't have to worry about, you know, what season it is, right? Because at the supermarket, it's always spring. It's always, you know, it's always harvest season. You know, things that, you know, you wouldn't be getting tomatoes in February. You know what I'm saying? And we've seen at various times that it's like, okay, if that system falters, then what happens? So, you know, all of, you know, those are things that look, you know, you could take it as a sign of what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So like for instance, you know, I already predict that if the tariffs kick in, people are gonna start noticing how unnecessary a lot of purchases is. See, me myself, that's what, you know, I was telling the guy, look, I wanted to get uh I still ain't get them. I got things prepared. I'm gonna get it before we done, right? They got the hydroponic machines that you keep at the house, that they grow vegetables. You could grow vegetables in like 6 weeks. Like they got the little pods where you put the seeds, you got the lights and everything, and you can grow all types of fruits and vegetables. It's just one thing. But you know when you deal with the 1 and 14, right? And you deal with the things that's in MGT and GCC, those is things about survival. Anybody else? Any other topics there? What's that? Magnetic self-I build. FDJ Beach Phil G. Atif. Halftime. I got sincere. This is Team Money Talk. Supreme Man. The Bar. Jeweler TV. Luke Cage. True Light. Free Cipher. Halftime got a question. Wait, you said, is Floyd really under scrutiny from the government about financial dealings? Not sure if the crying I saw was AI. What are you saying? Floyd Mayweather was crying on TV or something? I've been out the loop with a lot of stuff. I haven't, I've been working really. He said, and this is part of why today's topic hit so hard for me. Forgive me if I asked and answered on this channel already, if I don't catch the live as often, but okay. He said the meaning of civilization, one having knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, and refinement, and is not a savage in the pursuit of happiness. Why is power left out of the answer? I mean, to me, power is not left out of the answer. You got knowledge, wisdom, understanding, culture, refinement, not a savage in the pursuit of happiness. You got to be God. Yeah, Floyd, man, I mean, look. He got some good things about him, in terms of, look, from my perspective, I gotta say this, right? Is that he opens up his gym, man, and he teaches young kids boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not something you make a big deal about, but I have heard about him doing that. You know what I'm saying? In general, he's an adult entertainer, so you don't see him talking a lot about kids, but there's that part. But he's a reckless spender. You know what I'm saying? I gotta tell you. That everybody that I saw, every serious fighter, right, that was ever a serious fighter that fought that dude Jake Paul, I was under the impression that they didn't have as much money as we might imagine that they should have after the careers that they had. I don't see any other reason that Mike Tyson would have got in that ring. I don't see, but look, it's really I don't know. It's one of them things where, look, grown ass man. If you spent $300 million, whatever it is, like, I hope you have fun. You said all being born to or similar phrases. When did this start to be a thing of such conflict? When y'all got the knowledge. Hey man, listen. There's things that I started hearing was a conflict on Facebook. And a lot of the people who was saying it was a conflict, I never seen them before on Facebook. When I got the knowledge, it was accepted, right, that not everybody met Allah at the same time. Not everybody got the same lessons from him. Not everybody needed the same lessons. You know what I'm saying? And so we understood that there was things that that was from the root. That was, what's the word I'm looking for? That these distinctions, right, and what people was taught, like, look, see, let's say with my own history, right? There's just a lot of things that happened that Prince wasn't there. Like when the flag came, he wasn't there. So see, if somebody tells me that Allah said something that he didn't tell me, right? I know what the history is. In recent times, you have people that, in my opinion, you've changed things. In my opinion, you've changed things. See, because I never heard that Allah said, listen, if you want to see me, go to that cat over there. He could tell you everything I've ever been about, everything I ever thought, and everything I ever meant by everything I ever said. I never heard he said that. I never heard he said, look, go to that group of brothers over there because they're the only ones that got this down pat. What I heard was, if you want to see me, come together. So what you mean by that? Do you mean let's come together with all the keys? With all the keys that everybody was given? Or do you mean let's come together and get a bottle? What do you mean by that? When you say, right, if we want to see Allah, all we got to do is come together. Do you mean we come together, but we only, whatever you say is right, that's the only thing we could deal with? Are you saying that, there's only about 10 or 15 people that Allah taught that tell the truth? Everybody else is liars. If you ask me, that's who this is coming from. People that don't really know the history, and you getting what you getting from one or two people that you believe in. I know I'll be getting some calls later, but hey. Yeah, you got a very good point right here. Now, I don't know if this was the angle you was coming from, but this is something I did the knowledge to this guy. When you said it's unfortunate all these brothers facing some form of court dealings from rappers, sports players, entertainers, etc. Every other day somebody on the cutting block, right? Now look, the devil giveth and the devil taketh away. I have been looking at that. Like all of these, like there was a rise. Right? Like, look, if when even the way this, they don't talk about this as much no more, but this is what happened. After the Rodney King riots, right? All of a sudden, all these black people had all this money. Rappers was not sitting on that type of money. Michael Jordan in the early 90s, LeBron James, makes in about 2 or 3 seasons with Jordan made, maybe except for them last couple of years. Like, doesn't LeBron James have like a comparable amount of, I don't know if he got more, but I know he's up there close with Michael Jordan in how much less time. Rappers used to wear the Africa patches and all of this. All of a sudden, everybody changed, turned gold. From gold, they went platinum. Platinum, they went diamond. And see, one of the things that did, right, is that took a lot of the community talk out of the rhymes. That took a lot of the, the sports stars that used to come out to the parks and have little clinics. Like dudes that used to play for the Knicks used to do tours. They used to come around all the parks, show kids how to shoot a jumper, whatever, we play little games, right? You stop seeing that. Now you got to pay them to go to their camp. And see, now we got to take over. Y'all served y'all purpose. The purpose, right, was to get whoever's these young cats that's out here in the street riding over Rodney King, whoever's those people that cheered. Remember they showed the split screen and they showed the room full of white people and the room full of black people when they announced the OJ verdict. See, we need you to get them people back on the plantation. We need y'all to help us get them people back on the plantation. So here's take all this money. And see, like you said, now that it's over, right? Now that they've served their purpose, get in that cell, nigga. Got a letter from the government the other day. I opened and read it. It said they were suckers. But yeah, I've been paying attention to that. I don't know if that's what you was talking about. I have said exactly that in many ciphers. Allah didn't teach everyone the same way. This is well documented. I have encountered many people who attempt to invalidate how others got it because it's not the same way they got it. I had a brother interrupt me while I was building and argue about refinement and born in mathematics, which blows my mind because we all agree on respect being part of the knowledge. All right, listen. Look, in a lot of ways, this is one of the fucked up things about it. They don't say I don't have that much experience with that. They don't say that to me. And that's kind of what's fucked up. Like, see, the people, I would, like, look, the person who's sending you on this mission out here, right? The Gorgias or people, why they ain't saying nothing to me? Like, if you just getting the knowledge and you being told to attack ask the person who told you to do that, why they ain't never say nothing to me? See, anybody that brings you into the knowledge to have enemies here. And see, this is what I noticed, man. A lot of niggas got a lot of smoke for 5%. That's another thing about this dissatisfaction shit. Is that you got all this smoke for 5%. This shit happen every day, B. That's what let you know that you being sent on a mission, man. That look. Here's what I can tell you. There's things that I heard say at the rally when everybody was there and nobody said nothing. You see, you know the rally always occurs in the 20s and the 30s, right? And so I see people go up there and say all being born too. I see people go up there and not say it. And nobody said nothing. There was no conflict. There was understanding understood. Listen, God, a part of the canon, when I got it, they said Allah said you're supposed to add and multiply. That was, if you got the people out there that want to dispute it, bring them on. That's how I heard it. That we add and multiply, right? And the devil is made from division and subtraction. That's what Yaqub do, and we add and multiply. So you got a lot of dudes now, that's what I'm saying, a lot of these people that be talking this stuff, they wasn't even born when I got the knowledge. They never walked with none of these people who name they be calling. So see, look, I'm kind of, look, there's people, in terms of socially, richer or whatever, there's people that's more everything than me, but look, I've done all right, sir. Why I'm supposed to listen? I'm supposed to listen to you tell me this how I really go? So I don't pay a lot of that stuff no mind. See, a lot of people that's here to fight, that's what you here to do. You here to beef with everybody, right? You can't get along with 5%. But see, I look at some of the niggas you do poly with. See, I look at some of the people that those are your people. But you can't get along with 5% because they disagree with you. God, listen. If in life you don't take things on face value, people leave you the fuck alone. Because they know the okie doke ain't gonna work on you. God, first of all, let me tell you something. If some shit like that happened at the rally back in the days, seeing the older guys would be like, God, what the fuck are y'all talking about, God? Like, are y'all serious? Are y'all serious? Like, this is what, listen, man. See, the reason why y'all arguing is because y'all duty is amongst the dead. See, if y'all already got the knowledge, y'all ain't teaching each other. Y'all just hanging out and grandstanding. If you disagree with him, then go teach your way and let's see how that works. I'm like those things. That wasn't really. That kind of wasn't allowed to happen, G. Like, nah. All right, y'all. We gonna wrap this up because apparently I'm getting. Listen, I remember I got a call earlier. You know, I'm getting some calls from people who say, "Oh, let me see what this is about. Let me see what this is about." I don't know. Am I getting calls already? I don't know. Has what I've been saying? Have I been have I been stepping on toes? I don't know. I told y'all in the beginning that I was going to try. I wanted to stay in the. I wanted to stay in the. I didn't want. I didn't, you know. See, I'm talking about my topic. See, even I see in the comments some people listening. I'm saying what the fuck I'm saying. I don't need nobody to prompt me to nothing. Some questions was asked right here. You know, there was something that prompted me, there's something that prompted me to see this topic, right? For me to draw up this topic to say today, right? But yeah, now it wasn't none of that mundane shit like that. See, a lot of things, you know, even that, right? Even with that, right? Don't get caught up, right? I might be ranting about some shit, right? Look, all you could do is draw up the best part, right? Yeah, I seen Shannon Sharp. I seen Shannon Sharp in some deep trouble. Listen, and I was thinking about what you said, like, wow, they taking everybody down. You know, I don't know if Shannon Sharp, you know, he had that little situation with Skip Bayless. I don't know if Skip Bayless is that powerful. But yeah, I do see that. You know, and they showing you kind of a difference, right? Of these people who, you know, you got that mainstream kind of fame that really can only be given to you by the mainstream. See, they can choose to put the spotlight on whoever they want to. I don't know what happened with Shannon Sharp, but right now he got a he got an R word case, man. He got listen. I don't even want to get too deep into it, but yeah. So yeah, I did notice that. And then I'm gonna tell you another thing that I've been seeing when I was a kid. I had a problem when Sammy Davis Jr. passed away. Right. This is when I first thought of this mentality, and I thought of it again when the stuff happened with Michael Jackson, right? And when the stuff happened with Bill Cosby, right? Is that they don't really let black men die as heroes. Like Sammy Davis Jr. was their guy, so I didn't like that at the end. They like it was a news program I'm looking at, and they showing these people, they coming to repossess all of the stuff out of Sammy Davis Jr. house after he passed away, right? You know, his wife is dead, she can't do nothing. The people is just taking all this stuff. And I remember thinking like, damn, Frank, you what the fuck is going on, Frank? You ain't got a cool meal to hit Sammy off with? Like, y'all brothers, man, what the fuck? Where the fuck is Dean Martin? How y'all gonna let them do that? You know, but to me, it was like, yeah, they just had to smear, you know, they just had to put something there, you know what I'm saying, so that he couldn't just be a hero and shit, man. You know what I mean? Going all the way back, what's my man name? The dude that got caught up in he got caught up in the communist stuff. Oh man, Paul Robeson. They always gotta put something, you know, Michael Jackson. And look, I'm not defending them, right? If they did what they said that they did, but I'm just saying that, you know, there's other colored people that I seen you wait until after they passed away. Like, look, I felt some kind of way. I don't know how much of y'all is into football, right? College football. There was a dude, Eddie Robinson. Eddie Robinson is the winningest coach in college football, right? And there's a lot of people, myself included, that's like, look, y'all knew this thing was going on with the kids in Penn State, but y'all waited until Joe Paterno passed Eddie Robinson and wins. And then y'all didn't take those wins back like they usually do. They make you vacate all the what's the name? Yeah, he's being sued for R-word though. I mean, it's whatever it is, I don't even want my name mixed up in that. Allah Mel in the building. So I did think that is something that you know, like when you think about it, right? You know, how many brothers do you know that, you know, they was able to pass away, you know, and just be totally celebrated? You know, Muhammad Ali, but even that was a comeback. And would they have done that, right, if he didn't become the less militant Ali? You know, would they have done that if he was still giving those speeches? Okay, George Foreman, but he was on their side. Looking, I love George Foreman, right? But you gotta remember that George Foreman was there. George Foreman, by mind, not American. George Foreman, and I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, you know, his fame is you know, rooted in the Caribbean, right? So it's just harder for the mainstream of America to destroy somebody's image who the root of their image is somewhere else, right? As opposed to Sammy Davis Jr., you came through our system, right? We made it, we gave it to you, and we can take it away. Yeah, right. The bar. That's the bar hit that on the head. Look, they gotta get a black man an asterisk. They gotta give it. Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Foreman. See, George Foreman. Don't forget, right? That when the dudes on the track team was at the Olympics with the black fist in the air, George Foreman was there dancing with the colored people and waving and waving a little tiny flag like this. You know what I'm saying? You know, let's not forget, you know, that was a part of that. You know, see, because he lost, y'all probably don't hear that as much. But if you ask people, you know, the brothers that was out there in the streets that's, you know, dealing with those types of things, wearing the afros and all that, they was like, yeah, that was, you know, the brother that was representing blackness, knocking out this Jeffin ass, Mr. Shuffle two-step. And trust me, if he had won, they would let y'all know that this is Christianity in America knocking this pro-black Muslim shit out. They would have said that, bro. They would have said that. But you know what happened? And shout out to George Foreman. I like George Foreman. But, you know, it is what it is. District 120. But yeah, you came in at the end there. Where we seeing look, I got sincere. That's what I'm saying. That, you know, him not being in position to keep giving him the business like he was when he was young. Right? Why'd you bring up Red Fox? He survived what? Yeah, Prince. That's what I'm saying. It's no matter what. You said Red Fox's legacy is not tarnished. Okay, what's his legacy? Red Fox legacy as a comedian. Yeah, but I'm saying, so you saying, no, see, that's what I'm saying. Red Fox is not just like Sammy. I ain't never see Red Fox around no white people. Not saying that he wasn't, you know, at the Cotton Club or whatever places, but that's what I'm saying. No. That would be my main point, is that Red Fox was cursing before Coogee rap. Before Red Fox was never mainstream. At least, you know, in his youth days or whatever. But I never, you know, even when he was on TV, I don't know if Red Fox could have been at the Copacabana with the rest of the Rat Pack. I went, got me a new helmet. Got me a new helmet. I'm gonna see if it make me ride faster. Could be more aerodynamic. About to get up. See ya. What's the hour? What you here to? Is wisdom going through the board? When you out? Now Jared. When you out? Now Jared? Huh? Wednesday? Who knows? But at any rate, I don't know, it doesn't look like we had too much new people today, but if we did, hit the subscribe button and notification so you can know when we're gonna be on. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else do the each one teach one. Hit the like button. We're gonna sign off and say peace. And tomorrow we're supposed to be here. Look, even the reason I came down, right, is because I saw Prince Supreme. And Prince Supreme, I don't know, tomorrow's your physical? All right. So I don't know. Look, I don't know if you would still be in shape to make it on with us, but if you make it on, we definitely have to do the shout out for you. In the meantime, between time, I'm gonna sign off and say peace. Prince Supreme, if you out there, I'm gonna see you tomorrow. And like I said, in the meantime, between time, peace.